Hey guys, welcome back to the Network Podcast, and we always got interesting guests that come to the show. Today I got Melissa Simmons. It's going to be a crazy month with her, and I can't wait to do these interviews. But she's coming into the studio any moment, and I'll be giving her an entrepreneur interview. Let's turn it up on the network. Let's go. I'll see you soon, Melissa.
I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me.
Always got fire guests that come on the show. Melissa will be stepping in to the podcast any moment. Oh my God, I got some crazy interview questions for her. She'll be coming in and giving us a fire interview. I always got special guests that come up, and I love when new guests come up. And I actually think Melissa just showed up just now. So Melissa, thank you for being on the show. Can you please introduce yourself? Thank you for being on the network. Let's go.
Awesome. Hey, it's Dr. Melissa Simmons here, hanging out in Delaware.
I appreciate you, Dr. Melissa. I got some questions for you. What moment made you realize you were meant to be an entrepreneur and not an employee? Let's get into that.
That's cool. You know what? My parents, I always remember them having different jobs. They are both born and raised in Panama, so they migrated here in the 50s and 60s. And when they got here, they found jobs, but never had just one job. They always had a side hustle. Back in the day, it used to be Tupperware or it was Holiday Magic, but they knew about making money. You know what I'm saying? So when I watched them and I saw that's how they made ends meet, I said, you know what, that's cool. I need to be doing the same thing. I always have to have a plan B because you could work for people, but that doesn't always make it happen for you.
Wow,
so
exactly.
I think doing that and watching them really kind of inspired me. And ever since I can remember, I always had some kind of passion I was following in addition to my job.
I love that, Melissa. My next question for you is, how do you personally define success, and how has that definition evolved over time for you?
Ooh, I love that. Success to me is doing something you're happy to do, something that you can feel the passion about, because when you're successful, you can do whatever you're doing all day long, all night long. So for me, success is being able to do that. And then from that, I think because of the effort you put into it, because you have this passion, you end up making money. You end up making moving in a career. You end up getting to those financial levels you want to get to. So for me, success is doing what you want to do, what you like to do, and doing it well, and then reaping the benefits from it.
I love that, Melissa. I told you I had a special guest in here. She ain't new to this. She's true to this. Now, what's one of the biggest misconceptions people have about being a boss? Let's talk about that, Melissa. Let's get into that.
Oh, man. I think the biggest misconception people have about being a boss is that they think the title is it. If you're a boss, you're a leader, but a good leader really follows from behind. They watch the people that they're leading, and they become, personal with those people. They look out for them. They see what the people can do and not do. They position the people that they work with for success. When you see somebody who may not have skill A and B, but they're really good at skill C, that's what a leader should kind of point those people in. Because too often, you see people not being successful because that's not their thing. That's not their jam. And I think a good leader takes that into account. And they're humble. They're humble in the sense where they listen to people. They understand people. They're willing to sit down and talk to people. They're not just barking out, all these rules and regulations, but they're sitting down with the people that they work with. And they get along with them and understand, well, what can I do for you? I love asking the people that work for me, what can I do to you to make you successful? I always ask people that when I start working, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and how can I help you get there in the next 5 years? I think that's where a true leader comes from.
Ooh, Melissa's coming in and dropping these bombs. Now, what's something about entrepreneurship, what's something about entrepreneurship that taught you about yourself that you didn't really expect? We all come into things that, we might not expect, and it catches us off guard. But what is something that entrepreneurship taught you about yourself that you didn't really expect and it kind of caught you off guard? Let's get into that, Melissa.
Oh, man, that is a great question. I think what entrepreneurship showed me was that I can't allow the world to limit me. That if I like to do something and I'm passionate enough to do it, even if that's not, something I went to school for or may not even be known for. Like, for example, one of the things I always wanted to do was write a book. And even though I wasn't a great writer or anything like that, just because I went and I tried it, I was able to produce a book and then go ahead and sell it as an author. I think when you are able to kind of just follow your dreams, allow your dreams to take you somewhere, I think entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, that organically happens, because you find that as you follow these passions, these dreams, doors start opening. You start creating different areas. One of the things that I consider myself is I have an enterprise. I'm not just limited to business consulting. I can do coaching. I can do mentorship. So as an entrepreneur, don't limit yourself to one set thing. Find yourself, see what you can do in a number of areas, so that you have kind of, what they call it. You have coals in all the different fires, so that as things cool down, you could run to another area in your business as an entrepreneur.
I love that, Melissa. I told y'all I had a special guest coming into the network. I done told y'all she ain't playing. I got more questions for Melissa. So, Melissa, let's get right back into it. If you could rebuild your business from scratch, would you do it differently? Let's get into that.
Wow. If I could rebuild my business. I don't know. I don't think so. Because I've learned so much. When I came into the field, in my field, I started as an accountant, as an auditor. I used to work for Pete Morrick. So that was a learning experience, and I learned a lot from there. I learned a lot of how to build a business, about the inner workings of a business. And then I went ahead and started working for different school districts. In building out my career, all of that experience that I accumulated from being an auditor, from being a controller, and then being a CFO, all of those different experiences led to me being able to go out on my own and build my own business. And in building my business, I always knew that I wanted it to be a family business. So even building my family became a part of it. And I'll say it like this, because when my children started graduating from college, I always had this intention, if you ever wanted to do something, I'm going to create a corporation and we could all work in. So that's what I developed. So with everything that I learned in the past and knowing that I wanted to build generational legacy, the timing was perfect for all of that. So much so now it's not just me working in the corporation, in the business. It's my husband and it's my son at this point. And we're ready to bring on whoever else I need to bring on, because that's how now we create generational wealth and build our own and make our own legacy out there.
Woo! Man, Melissa's out here making the moves. Now, another question I got for you, Melissa, is what mental shifts were necessary for you to step into your power as a leader? Let's get into that.
Mentorship. I believe in mentorship. I believe that you always find somebody who's doing what you want to do. Or some of my key ones, my first one was, and I'll shout her out, Dr. D. She was Dr. Deidre Anderson. She was able to show me who I was on the inside. She helped me build my confidence. She helped me build my skills of me knowing who I was. When I left her, I knew who I was. I knew what my brand was. I knew what I was good at from just being Melissa. So knowing who you are, knowing what your gifts are, knowing what your talents are, and then setting your own personal goals for your life, I think becomes the first mentorship you need to have. She helped me build my life plan. So now I don't just look at 1 year. I look at 10, 15, 20 years at all times, because I know I have a life plan. It's not just this year, but it's 10 years from now. That's why, even as I saw my 10 years ago, I wrote down my family legacy. So now that I'm watching it play itself out, that mentorship was everything there. I think the other kind of mentorship or coach you need to have is a business one. Somebody specifically in your business that can now show you how to become the best at that business. I think those are two big mentorships that I had that really helped me move to the next level.
I love that, Melissa. You see how Melissa took, and Melissa's so fire with it. I asked her about mental shifts, and she took it to mentorship, and that was the next question I was going to ask her. So she done wrapped it up and ran with it. So I want y'all to know that that's fire. I love when people come up and run with the question. So I appreciate you, Melissa. My last question for you is up here is, what's one mindset you had to unlearn in order to grow as an entrepreneur? Let's get into that.
Ooh, stop saying yes to everybody. I had to unlearn my need to please and always say yes. I had to understand that no is a full sentence. And when I tell people no, that's putting me in front of my own goals. Too often I saw myself in the past helping everybody achieve their own goals and get to where they wanted to be. And I had to learn that I had to start telling people no and put myself first so that I can now take the time to work on my passion, my goals, and fulfill the things I know I have in my own heart. That was really big for me.
Ooh, see, now, Melissa, is there any final things you want to leave with the podcast? How can they find you on social media and what you got coming up new for us? Over to you before we start to close out.
I love it. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Mel Sims, and I'm on Facebook, Dr. Melissa Simmons. And you could always find me. I'm also part of the Fem Talk Nation. We have all kinds of shows on Facebook and on our YouTube channel, so you can see me there with my other co-hosts. And those are the ways that we get, I get information out to people. You'll see a couple of things I do. I just don't have